We're back predicting the next fight night. After Max just got pretty dominated. In my opinion, it wasn't a BMF fight, but a Charles win is a Charles win, but Max will come back stronger. But anyways, let's just get into the first fight. So it's Pierre Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes does have a negative KD, but she somehow gets it done every time I pick against her. But once again, I am going to be picking against her. Piero Rodriguez has beaten Kaylin Souza and Josephine Knudsen, or however you say his name. Honestly, those are really good wins in the women's division, especially the Knudsen win. She's her only loss. Like, I never heard of this girl, but let's just move on. The next fight is Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu. You are fighting. Anyways, Su Young Yu is tough opponent for Elijah Smith. Elijah Smith is a young prospect. He just came off that Rampage KO of that other Asian dude. I don't know why they keep giving him Asian dudes, but I'm gonna go with Elijah Smith. I think he's gonna have the grappling advantage. Also just more athletic. And if he gets fraud checked, that's gonna be pretty sad. He's honestly pretty underrated prospect. Not a lot of people are talking about him. And the next fight is Bia Mesquita versus Montserrat Randon. Never heard of both of these guys, girls. They have honestly good records. Mesquita is undefeated, and for the other girl, she does have a reach advantage and a height advantage. So 4-inch height advantage, or 4-inch height advantage and only a half an inch reach advantage doesn't really make sense. Maybe I'm kind of going 50-50 here. I'm thinking this on the spot. I'm just eating meeny miny mo. Probably gonna go Mosquito. Honestly, she fought in the LFA and apparently she was champion, so I'm just gonna go off of that. Next, we have Luan Lacerda versus Hedger Sosa. Lacerda does have a good record, but two of his three losses have came in the UFC. It was his first fight. It was Damon Blackshear and Cody Stamann. And honestly, if he's losing to these like Damon Blackshear is good, but if he's losing to these bottom tier UFC fighters, then I'm not too sure. And for Sosa, it's hard to tell. This is his debut after winning on Contender Series. I am gonna go with Sosa because his record just looks a lot better, first of all, and he looked pretty good on Contender Series. And Lacerda just, like I said, just loses to bottom of the tier guys, like guys like 4 fights out the rankings, 5 fights out the rankings. So Sosa also has a bunch of finishes. He has 9 finishes out of his 14 fights. And so I'm probably gonna go with Sosa TKO. And the next fight is Balaji Okai, I'm not sure, versus Manuel Sosa. So Okai in his last fight was facing Mason Jones, and if I don't remember correctly, he dropped Mason Jones. Like I know for sure he won the first round. I remember that, and he got KO'd the second round. And Mason Jones is good. He's not like honestly he could be ranked like 13, 14. Um, so I'm gonna have to give the upper hand to Oki because he has more experience. This is Manuel Sosa's first fight after the Contender Series win. And before that, he fought in Bellator LFA. And I don't know, it's just like Oki actually has like UFC wins. And I'm just going to go off more of that because obviously we've seen Bellator, what the competition there. Look at Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix just got dominated in Rise. And people were saying he was going to be Sean O'Malley a year ago. Like, so stupid. I literally told everyone, like, this guy's not going to do anything. Anyways, so like I said, Oki has been guys like Michael Aswell, who's for some reason on the main card of the London fight, at the co-main, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a good win. I'm gonna go okay by decision. Next fight we have McTech, McTech Orba. I'm just gonna say Orbai. We have Orbai versus Chris Curtis. Orabai's been on a run. That Rebecca fight was crazy. That was his only loss. It was a split decision loss, but anyways, regardless, Orba just came off a crazy KO offer from Manson at welterweight, which was pretty weird. I guess he's just a permanent welterweight now. Maybe he's just following Islam. Like, I'm not too sure. But anyways, I'm gonna have to go with Orba because Chris Curtis recently, even though he did get a win off of Max Griffin. It was a split decision win off of Max Griffin, and Max Griffin is not UFC level. I've always bet against him, and he's never won. So I'm honestly not too sure how he's in the UFC. And also Chris Curtis, after he won that, he was like had his arms in the air. He was like, yes, as if he dominated, and it was literally a split decision. Like, he did not look that good. I feel like he's declining. He's 38. Orby's 28. I'm gonna have to go Orby by finish. Just he can take it to the ground. I don't think I would say a sub, yeah. Next, we have Brad Tavares versus Eric Anders. Both of these guys has just been in the middleweight division forever. It seems like it's just like never touched the rankings. If so, like we're like number 15. Kind of just stepping stones. If I'm not, no, no hate, no hate. But anyways, I am gonna have to go with. I am gonna have to go with. Kind of thinking about switching my pick right now. Honestly, I was gonna go with Eric Anders because Brad Tavares' his last fight, he was a favorite. He got he got KO'd pretty bad. Yeah. Robert Bryzak, the guy, if I'm not mistaken, this is the guy that was like, "Oh, never believe in yourself." Honestly, that guy also lost to Ihor Potieria, which is like, in my opinion, the worst UFC fighter of all time. But who knows? Maybe that was a fluke. But anyways, I'm gonna have to go Eric Anders, and just because these guys are both declining, and I'm gonna go Eric Anders maybe by probably by finish. I just feel like Tavares used to have really good cardio, but I don't know. I just feel like he's slow now. Next is honestly a pretty exciting fight: Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. Uh, really good gatekeepers in the flyweight division, and Silva's coming off a upset submission on I don't know how to say his first name, Hyun Park, and Hyun Park, you know, before the Tyra fight, he was looking good. Like, he was looking like he could be, like highly ranked in the flyweight division. So Bruno Silva kind of fraud checked him, and Charles Johnson, on the other hand, he got an upset loss. So he was facing Alex Perez. Alex Perez is kind of like mm, no diss, but in the flyweight division, he's kind of like a free finish. Like, just recently, he's just been getting finished by everyone. Johnson, who has a lot of power, everyone was expecting him to slam out Perez. Perez slammed him out badly, had him like running across the cage. That was crazy. And Johnson, I feel like that didn't knock him down too much. He does have a lot of confidence. That was only like a couple months ago, if I'm that was only 2 months ago. Who knows? Kind of quick to come back, but we see how it goes. I feel like he can easily crack Bruno Silva. We've seen it a lot of times before against Cape, Van. Obviously, those guys have a championship level, but Charles Johnson does have a lot of power. So he does have more power than Van, that's for sure. And well, the difference is Van kind of like put the pressure on him, but Charles is very able to do that. So I'm gonna have to go Charles Johnson by KO. Maybe I would say round 2 or 3. Honestly, I don't. Maybe not in the first round, but next we have Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplund. Just the difference in these guys' physiques are crazy. Like, you would think it's so one-sided, but honestly, this is like such a competitive fight. Uh, Petrino is kind of getting fraud checked back when he was in light heavyweight. Can't lie. Dustin Jacoby is good. He hit that Usman KO on Petrino. That was crazy. But on the other hand, let's not forget that Petrino's Anthony Smith's last win, losing to Anthony Smith is like, come on, man. Like, do I need to say more? Honestly, do I need to say more? Like, Petrino wins against guys like Austin Lane, like another like one of the worst fighters in UFC history, but Asplin is really good. He can put on the pressure for a heavyweight. He can really put on the pressure. This might come down to cardio, but if Petrino doesn't just KO him early, honestly, I'm gonna put Asplin by decision. And what I think is more likely is probably I'm gonna say Asplin by decision. Asplin looks like he can take a punch, so I'm gonna go off of that. Second fight on the main card, we have Marwan Rahiki, really hyped up prospect, 23 years old, versus Harry Hardwick, the guy who was brought out on a wheelchair, exiting out the wheelchair of the octagon after his pretty disaster UFC debut. It was on short notice, give him the benefit of the doubt, but like, come on, he literally got hit in the leg like 30 times. After like the 10th kick, he still didn't decide, like, let me start checking my kicks, and he got TKO'd and brought out on a wheelchair. So Rahiki, he is very hyped up. Uh, good, good performance on the Contender Series. Got that KO over some random, but I'm gonna have to go with Rahiki on this. Hardwick did not look too good. Can't really tell how good he's gonna be. Was back in Cage Warriors, and is Cage Warriors is better than Bellator. I want to make that clear. So a win in Cage Warriors is, I would say, three times better than a no, I would say two times better than a Bellator win. So this will be competitive, but I'm gonna have to go Rahiki. Probably, if I know he's gonna attack the legs, obviously. Um, Probably just chop him down, just put some volume on him, and I'll go Rahiki by decision. Next, we have Andre Philly versus Jose Delgado. Philly coming off an upset win against Christian Rodriguez. When that fight happened, I was pretty pissed. I honestly thought Rodriguez was just gonna destroy him. I just don't really get Rodriguez's record, honestly. He's beaten Austin Bashi, who is like, and honestly, one of the best prospects 2025. He beat Cameron Simon, who's another prospect. Like, we all know he's a prospect killer. But I'm just Andre Philly, one of the worst chins in the UFC. He has a pretty boy champ, pause, but like, he doesn't have a blockhead. Jose Delgado, I think, is gonna crack him very easily. We've seen Jose Delgado slime out Hyder Emil, who I can't stress this enough, whose head is a giant just brick. So when that happened, I was pretty astonished. And also, Philly's also declining on top of that. And I've never seen Philly win like straight out. I swear to all his wins have been like split decisions. So I'm gonna have to go Delgado by probably round one KO. Next, we have Ion Cutabala versus Umar Sy. Umar Sy, one of the most disappointing prospects of last year. He went on this crazy run, got an easy matchup against Alonzo Menifield, uh, and just gassed out. He was like an 8-1 favorite, minus 800. Um, he honestly just got outplayed by Alonzo Menifield, which is, you know, Alonzo Menifield. He was good, but he's also 38 and relies on KO power. So that was pretty wild. You would expect him to sub him or like ground and pound TKO him, but anyways, he did come back, get a win off Bredson Ribeiro, who is uh honestly kind of a free win at this point. But I am gonna go with Umar Sy by decision because I just feel like he's gonna have the grappling advantage against Cutabala. It looks like feels like he's improved a lot. He did get the round one KO in his last fight against Ribeiro, which usually he usually gets a finish, honestly, Sai. So I'm gonna have to go side by decision, just getting control time. Feel like Cutabala wouldn't be able to like touch him up and stuff. And yeah. Next, we have the real main event, what we've all been waiting for. Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. You know I'm gonna go Robertson. Honestly, I feel like she's one of the best just women in the UFC. She's been on a pretty really good run since 2024. 4 wins in a row. Um she's actually two of them are KOs, which you know how rare that is for the women's division. And on the other hand, Lemos, like she is good. She is good. She's good against uh random woman we never heard of. Like the Lucindo fight, I had no clue who Asmin Lucindo was. Oh, well, looks like Lucindo has a win over Angela Hill. Oh, that was like this summer. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Jillian Robertson. Probably by decision. That's what I would say. Like he's gonna out grapple her. Just piece her up a bit on the ground. Even though Lemos is a really good grappler, I'm gonna have to give it to Robertson just from the strength advantage. And yeah, so I'm gonna say Jillian Robertson by decision. And honestly, she's not too far from a title shot, Robertson. You know, sometimes in the women's division, it's like what, like 2 fights, 3 fights to get a title shot. Like we saw with the Mario Bueno Silva girl, like got a title shot, lost like every fight after that. Like anyways, so I would go Robertson. I would go with the Canadian, obviously. I'm not gonna switch up. And yeah, so now the main event, pretty random main event if I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why Josh Emmett is a main event in 2026, but whatever. We're seeing Kevin Vallejos fight versus Josh Emmett, 24 versus 41, and I'm gonna go Vallejos by KO. Probably round three. Round three. And if it gets past round three, probably decision. Just it's gonna be a cardio battle, but I'm gonna go with Vallejos. I never bet against Vallejos. I'm gonna say that, and that's paid off. He destroyed Giga Chikadze. He destroyed what's his name? Danny Silva, who's honestly not bad. I'm gonna have to give it to Vallejos. He's next Ilya Taporia. On the other hand, Josh Emmett is like, when was the last time we seen Josh Emmett win? Who's Bryce Mitchell. When he sparked out Bryce Mitchell, you know, you can call that fluke maybe. Like Bryce Mitchell just kind of ran into it and stuff. It's not the best one, but before then, like we seen this before. We seen Josh Emmett versus Ilya Taporia. We saw a 10-7 round. I'm not saying Vallejos is gonna get a 10-7 round, but if someone on to, okay, I'm gonna say this. Tell me if this makes sense. Vallejos is like 5 or 6 points behind Taporia's level. And if you're getting 10-7 by someone, let's say like Taporia's a 10, that means Vallejos is like a 5. Like even a 5, that's enough to get like a couple 10-9 rounds. So I'd say Vallejos. And we don't really see Josh Emmett get KO'd. We usually see him get subbed. So subbed or just a decision. He's pretty sturdy. So I'm either gonna go Vallejos round 3 KO or Vallejos decision. And yeah, that concludes the entire video. If you agree, disagree, comment down below. And I kind of just freestyled this video, and that's kind of the new format I'm gonna go off of. So tell me how you like it. You can also Comment if you want more scripted video. But anyways, there's my picks. See ya.